Muted.
Webinar. I apologize for the delay, but thank you for your patience. I think we figured out all of the audio troubles that we did have. So I would like to introduce you to November's webinar. My name is Samantha Ogon, and I am the OAUG staff liaison for the Young Professionals Forum. I would like to let you know that this call is being recorded and you are currently on mute, but we do highly encourage you to ask any questions at any time. And if you do have questions, don't hesitate to write them in the question box, and we'll answer all questions at the end of this presentation. All right, so before we start the educational portion of this call, I would like to give you a quick update of the OAUG Young Professionals Forum and other educational and networking opportunities available to you with the OAUG. This includes a special introduction to our SIG groups, our special interest groups, from one of our hardworking coordinators, Donna Rosentrader. All right, so the OAUG Young Professionals Forum is here to help those who are new to their career or new to Oracle. We are focused on helping you get your career started on the right foot, build your professional network with peers and mentors, stay up to date in Oracle Applications community, and as a place to share helpful information or a place for you to ask questions, to discuss information with other young professionals and experienced professionals as well. The next webinar after this one is just a month away with the Outlook optimization training. So if you've ever dreamed of going home at the end of the workday with a clean inbox, this training is for you. We have Evan Flesher from Vitamix Corporation who will teach a hands-on webinar to show you how to go home with 0 emails in your inbox, become a stress-free when it comes to changes in work plans, tasks, or timing, and establish new ways of forging new habits and effectiveness. This is a great way to end 2016 for a more efficient and organized 2017. And we'd like you to save the date for Collaborate 17 for our cocktail meetup. This will take place on the Wednesday of Collaborate again this year, and there will be a number of experienced professionals with varying topics to help you grow as an Oracle Applications professional, as well as for your professional development. And registration is now open for Collaborate, and if you register early and as a member, you can save the most off of your registration costs. I would also like to mention that the OAUG Young Professionals Forum is run by volunteers, and if you'd like to get involved in the planning process, if you have an idea for a future webinar, or just general questions, please email us. You can find our contact information on the OAUG website at oaug.com, and then it's under Membership and Young Professionals, or you can email membership@oaug.org to ask any questions. The OAUG is a place to receive educational resources that come from users like you, and if you want to learn more about EBS upgrades or eBusiness Suite after today's webinar, you can find resources on the OAUG website. If you're currently a member of the OAUG, you have access to more EBS upgrade resources, and you can find these by searching on our website to find previously held webinars and past Collaborate presentations. Next, take a look at our OAUG Pro Tips video. This is another opportunity to learn more. These are videos that are about 5 minutes long and are accessible on our YouTube channel. The video from Mark Clark is one of the best ones that's about Oracle EBS upgrades. Patching and custom code, that might be a great one to check out. You can find these under the Resource tab on the OAUG website. Another way you can learn more is either with our OAUG Insight magazine or our Support and Focus newsletter. And we had a special update from Oracle about extending our EBS support in the last edition. All right, and so I'd like to also share that our special interest groups are a great way of getting involved. So you might ask, what is a special interest group or a SIG? So I'll give you a little update about what that is. Our special interest groups are run by volunteers, and they're great ways to learn about a specific product in the Oracle applications world. And Donna, who is not here at the moment, but I can give you guys her contact information after the webinar. She runs two of our special interest groups. One's the e-business suite and one's the procurement SIG. And these two SIGs put on webinars just like this one that can help you learn more about both of these items. And you can find all of our SIGs on oug.org/community/SIGs. All right, let's get started with our EBS 12.2 12C upgrade tips and lessons learned. I have a committee member from our OAUG Young Professional Steering Committee and board member, Ketan Donkey, on the phone who would like to introduce our speaker. Ketan, could you, are you on the line?
Yeah, thank you, Samantha. Hello, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Sandersh, who works for Facebook, and he's been involved with the upgrade of Oracle E-Business Suite from up to 12.2, and also they probably upgrade their database also to 12C. So here's Sandersh to talk about his experience and also talk about the tips and tricks that they used and some of the lessons that they learned. So that could be beneficial to all of you who are either in the middle of an upgrade or planning to upgrade. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Sandersh.
Hey, thank you, Ketan. Hello, everyone. This is Sandesh, and like Ketan said, we are really, big Oracle customer, and e-business is one of the most important system we have at Facebook. And we recently went through an upgrade, so we upgraded to 12.2 and also a 12C database. Just to give you a brief about what we were, before we started our upgrade, this is a read. We had an e-business 12.1 instance and the database 11.203. We did this upgrade 6 years back, and then 11G was never our focus because we were running on Exadata X2, which only supported 11.203. Then we had 16 different applications when we started this upgrade, and they were all relying on the data on the e-business suite. And then we had about 25 active users during the upgrade, and now we have about 10,000 active users. And we have heavy customization. If you look at our e-business system, it looks more like a Facebook page, less Oracle. So that's how the customization is, and it's very heavily customized. And then we have about 40+ development environments. This is excluding UAT and support environments. This is just development used by different developers who do their day-to-day work. And then we have the funky architecture where we have the SSO rack, advanced data guard, TMZ, ADF. We have pretty much everything, that Oracle sells. And then our database was about 6 terabytes in size, and we were running on X2 hardware, and it's a 2-node rack. So I think this presentation, I want to kind of share, the lessons that we learned during this upgrade and also after this upgrade. It's almost 1 year that we have upgraded, and it's a very stable environment as of now. But we have gone through a lot of issues and hassles, to reach this particular state. And I just want to give you a brief on what those issues we faced and what we kind of anticipated from this upgrade. So end goal was like after we upgraded, this is how we were like e-business 12.2, database was 12C. And we were on the latest CPU, and security is the prime focus at Facebook, so latest security patches. And then 12C is known for all its performance-related, features, and all of them are disabled, on our current environment. Online patching, we are using it, not to the extent of what Oracle sells, but we use it quite frequently. Smaller JVMs, although we are on a 64-bit Java, we use smaller JVMs. OPP is 64-bit, and I think I wanted to say that, and I'll give the reason in my future slides on why we are talking about OPP. And we are learning on the latest proxy and DMZ, and our cloning process is automated. Our code deployment is automated. So code deployment is very minimal human intervention. It's an auto deployment process that we have, and various other features, data guards, and those things are all working fine. So let me straight away get on to the our experience, the lessons, what we learned while upgrading at Facebook. So the first thing, first issue that we faced is 12.2 binary install is a non-downtime activity, right? So this is our experience. So we did an install and we brought down the production, and it was very clearly written that we always assume when we install something we can always do it prior we start the downtime activity. But in this case it was not true. We took down the entire production, and the main reason is Oracle documentation says you can install the binaries before you start the upgrade, but they never say that you can only install it on the existing node, not on the new nodes. So when we were upgrading, we went through a Linux upgrade also. So we totally changed all the middleware pairs into a new server, and we ran the installation from there, and it caused outage. So if you're testing this, just make sure you don't, if you're installing it on a new server, just make sure this is a downtime activity and it should be part of your upgrade downtime. Next one is your code checkers, basically the DB code checker and middleware code checker patches. Just try to download the latest until you have a very stable upgrade run on your development. Until then, keep downloading the latest patch. So this is one of the very weird change that we saw at Oracle. They update the same patch. They don't release a new patch, they update the same patch. So the same patch number but different files every time you download it. And when we were upgrading, this patch was getting updated every week or every 3 days or 4 days. And every time they used to ask, have you applied this patch? And we had to download the latest code checker and run it. So just make sure you get the latest so that you apply all the patches, and that will be less painful dealing with Oracle support. The third point is, once you have a stable run of your 12.2 upgrade on a development environment, freeze your documentation. If you are referring to document IDs for 12.2, they change very frequently. One of the typical example is ADTXK patches, right? When Oracle releases new ADTXK, I think currently they're on ADTXK 6 or 7, they update the document or the README of the ADTXK 5 into ADTXK 6, which means ADTXK 5 is lost. You will not get document anymore. You only have ADTXK 6 now. So that's a problem for us, because we always refer to this document as a reference, but these documents have changed. So having this frozen, or you maintain your own document and keep it clean. The next one is ADOP features. Oracle, when they sell 12.2, all they sell is ADOP, and online patching is all about everyone is so much interested in online patching. So you need to make sure you test it thoroughly. Those features are really good. They if they work very well, and they are definitely best features, but they don't work. And whenever there is some complex architecture, you make sure you test it. And another problem is, we always test the ADOP features on a single node. It works fine. When you run it on a multi-node, complex architecture, that's where you hit a lot of issues. And all those issues are fixable, in terms of infrastructure, but just make sure you test it well. Then other thing is, try upgrading it to the latest version. So when we started our upgrade, we did the entire upgrade in about 5 months. Still, we had 2 releases that came out during that time span. I think now the Oracle has kind of taken a step back in releasing the new versions. But if you are planning to upgrade for 6 months to if your upgrade process is for 6 months or 1 year, just make sure you kind of ask Oracle when they are releasing the latest version, and try to go to that version, so that you get all the latest fixes. And the next one is, after you upgrade, just make sure you set a right expectation to the user community about the stabilization. 12.2 post go live is not stable. It takes a while to stabilize. It's not that Oracle product is buggy, it's more around our customization, our infrastructure, and the way these heavyweight applications behave. So just make sure you set the right expectation. In our case, we said our user community that it will take at least 1 month to stabilize this environment. When we say stabilize, it's clean, no bounce, no outages. So set that expectation, or else you will have users with different expectation, and you will have as a DBA you'll face a lot of heat from the user community. Other thing is the new features for which Oracle sells this 12.2 ADO, WebLogic, high-level HA, and all these features. Test that using a production-like architecture. We usually have a stripped-down version of production on our lower environments. Try to have it identical, so that and test these features on those identical environments thoroughly. In our case, yeah, we tested it. Still, we didn't cover everything because we had so much confidence in our lower environments. And when we went to production, our online patching was not working, and it took us at least a week to fix all the issues. And those are minor issues, but still not a good indication when we are going live in production. Then the next one is ADOP coding standards are implemented. So this is one of the key feature. Basically, Oracle expects the customization of the PL SQL code to be of specific standard. They have their customization document. Just make sure your coding is as per those standards on 12.1.3. The reason we say it has to be fixed on 12.1.3 is because it will give you a lot of benefits when you're enabling online patching. If not, you will have more issues while enabling online patching, and it just adds up to your upgrade time. So having it fixed on your 12.1.3s or 11.5.10 is much more clean and efficient. And the next one is 12.2 comes up with all this heavyweight applications like WebLogic and other components they use. So the bounce time increases a lot. When we say Apache bounce in 12.1.3 or 11.5.10 was very fast, but in 12.2 it takes a bit more time, and it's just from 15 minutes to 30 minutes. So you can see a small increase there. You can always see that. Another thing is the WebLogic is it's a preloaded web application. So basically it loads all the applications when it starts up. So anytime you make a small modification to your Java code or any configuration, you need to bounce your WebLogic. So this is quite painful in the initial stage when we're going through this stabilization phase. So set that expectation. When you say we are bouncing it, just say that your 12.2 takes more time to bounce, even Apache or OAUG or whichever managed server you want to bounce. Another thing is when we upgraded, OPP was 32-bit. We don't know what was the reason, but when we tested it well, we saw it running out of memory, and when we traced the binaries, we saw that it was referring to 32-bit Java. And Oracle acknowledged it, and we tweaked the template to make sure it uses 64-bit, and we are still running with that specific fix. And Oracle was supposed to release that as a patch for the future releases, but we are not sure whether they released it. So just make sure you test it thoroughly, run larger reports to make sure it supports larger memory sizing and also larger reports in terms of volume. And the next one is again the same thing. Validate your HA configuration. High availability is one of the most important feature of 12.0 in any business system. Test it thoroughly. Your content managers, your forms, your webs have to be tested very well. That's very important, because content managers work very well in 12.1.3 or 11.5.10 or on 12.2, but some of the functionalities doesn't work based on the hardware architecture work. Just make sure you test it. And a simple example is if you've enabled a customization or something, or even PCP on your content manager, you need to make sure FS1 and FS2, two file systems are in sync, are clean. So make sure you test this HA on both FS1 and FS2. You do a cutover, go to FS2, test the same feature. In our case, we had this issue. Main file FS1 was fine, FS2 had issues, and we had to go through a phase where we had to fix all these issues. So make sure you kind of test this in advance so that you don't face it on your production environment. Then again, ADOP is really good when you're applying a lot of patches, but for one-off patches, small patches, ADOP is not really practical. If I'm applying a 1 KB patch, which is small patch, running cutover, all these features are really not, prepare cutover is not really an option. So we use hot patch. The shared Apple top is always, compromising performance. So if you are implementing a shared Apple top, expect 10 to 20% or more reduction in the performance. Okay. Usually this is very common that we test our performance on the development and it looks very good. When we go to the higher environments with complex architecture like shared Apple top, the performance will degrade. So make sure, if you're going for a multi-node, just test the performance thoroughly with the shared Apple top based on whatever technology you're using. Then 12c has a lot of performance issues. I think it has a lot of features that are supposed to improve the performance, but what we saw was it was not working for an ideally business environment. And the way we figured out is the optimizer, disable the optimizer. When we set the optimizer to 12c, it's bad. When you set the optimizer to 11g, it's good. So that's how we troubleshooted it. When we set to 11g, it's working fine. So we switched the optimizer. We allowed the system to continue, or users to continue doing their work. And in the background, we figured out what are those features, like this plan stabilization. All these features are really not working well for any business environment. And Oracle also, I think we saw in the new documentation where they say to disable some of the adaptive plan features in 12c before you do the 12.2 upgrade, so, which was discovered in our environment. The other one we saw is the change in the cloning process basically. So cloning, still we run ADCFG clone, but if you look at the internal ADCFG clone run, it does a lot of work which kind of increases the total cloning time. So like I said before, we have 40 cloning environments, with 40 environments that developers clone whenever they want. So it's all automated, so they go click a button and it gets refreshed or cloned. And in 12.1.3, we used to clone environments in 25 minutes. And with 12.2, currently we are running with 40 minutes to 45 minutes. And it takes a lot of time, and we did a lot of customization, or we customized the ADCFG clone in such a way that it completes in 45 minutes, or else it was taking more than 2 hours again. So if you have a high SLA on the cloning process, just make sure you kind of test it. The other thing is DR is still a challenge. It's not working. After we upgraded to 12.2, we lost our DR. Data guard is there, data is there, but application DR is not working. Recently, Oracle released a document on how to set up a DR, but that is very intrusive and very tightly coupled architecture that they have released, which still is not practical. If you want to seamlessly switch over within say 2 hours, 3 hours, it's not possible. And you may have to tweak a lot of code or a lot of configuration, which is not supported by Oracle, but still we did this before, you may have to do it again. But yeah, as of now, from an Oracle standpoint, it's not really stable. Then other thing is always apply the recommended patches for the module specific patches. So some of the patches in 12.2, we didn't see a lot of features in terms of application. It's all more around the infrastructure. So product specific patches had very less implications on the functionalities. So testing was much simpler when we did this. So try review these patches for all your modules and apply those. And that will definitely save a lot of time dealing with Oracle support to repeatedly ask the question, have you applied this patch, this patch? So a little save time for you. The next one is, again, perform good testing of your ADOP and other moving parts here. So in our case, very simple example. When you run ADOP, it kind of, does an SSH to all the nodes. So SSH has to be open between all the nodes. Again, it connects to your admin console. If you're applying a patch on the DMZ, it connects to your admin console. And DMZ to admin console on the internal is really, very vulnerable. And these sort of firewalls or this part of request will not be available. So if you test it thoroughly, you can identify these issues in advance and have those fixed, right, before you go live. And for us, it was all learning because we never expected the application to be this tightly coupled. But as we learned, we kind of, we thought like, yeah, testing would have definitely caught all these issues. Next one is custom code deployment. That's again a big change for us. Before we had this very simple standard where we put all the custom code under custom top, and there is very clear it is where is my customization is under custom top. But with 12.2, our Java code that was sitting under custom code was custom top, was not getting recognized. We worked with Oracle development came in there, they couldn't really figure out, and finally Oracle said the Java code should sit under the common top Java, that standard location. And that was a major change for us, but you kind of test this deployment, make sure you test it on multi-node too, so that you get a real confidence on this Java code. Next one is like JVM. WebLogic is 64-bit, and I would expect the JVMs to be larger, 8 gig, 16 gig, whatever it is. It doesn't scale well. That's what we saw. When we went live, with larger JVMs, users were getting blank screen, and it took a while for us to realize there was something wrong with the JVM, the way it is managing the memory and all the connections and connection pools. So it was Oracle who kind of helped us to kind of say that try with smaller JVMs and see if it really helps, and it did help. So instead of going with larger JVMs, we went with smaller JVMs, but we went with more JVMs. So you can always, configure more JVMs so that each node can support 3 to 4 JVMs of 2 gig each. That will kind of give you a confidence to support more number of users. The next one is drop all custom indexes before you start the upgrade. And this is very useful because Oracle upgrade driver is tested on seeded indexes, and if you have your custom index, the plan will change. Most of the times it causes performance issues. The SQLs that are supposed to run in certain amount of time takes longer, and it's all mainly because of the custom index. And if you open an SR with Oracle for a long running SQL, first thing Oracle asks is, do you have any customization, any custom index? They come up with this question. So best way is drop all the indexes, run the upgrade driver on the seeded index, and if you hit performance issue, open SR with Oracle, because this is Oracle's code and they should know it very well. We don't have to really worry about how to fix something if it goes bad. The next one is larger tables. DMLs on larger tables are slow, relatively slow. And if you reorg and move these tables to a table space with larger extent size, it definitely improves your performance. But at the same time, it costs storage for you. This is unnecessary wastage of the storage. So you have to make the decision. If you're okay having extra storage allocated to your system, then do this. It will give you performance, or else you can ignore it and you can live with the performance of what you get. So if by doing this in one of the clients where there were like large tables, they kind of save 6 hours in the upgrade driver timing, which is quite significant when you compare 2 days and 3 days of outage. The next one is preserve AWR. Right? AWRs are very important and it helped us a lot. After you upgrade, I think you don't hit the performance issue until users really start using the system. So it takes about a month or 2 for people to realize that there is a performance issue. Something is not working, concurrent programs are not running as expected. So this doesn't quite happen. So having your AWR for a longer period, retention for a longer period will definitely help you. You can really compare the plans, you can look at the runtimes. There's a lot you can do with AWR. And the next one is, this is very quite new to me. when you run an AD patch, you have something called batch size there. By default, it is 1000, and I think in my career, I never changed that value. I always left it for default. 12.2 upgrade driver, it heavily depends on this batch size. If you open every SQL that's run, batch size is a parameter which is passed. If you're running 32 workers get their batch size, get their volume divided based on this batch size. So the smaller the batch size, the more batches are created for the workers. So having a larger batch size will definitely boost the performance. And the next one is disable your Archer log during your production or any other environments. So there is no meaning in having Archer log enabled when you're upgrading it. Suppose upgrade driver fails or you corrupt your database, you need to restore it from the very cold backup that you take before you start your upgrade. So Archer logs are of no help during the upgrade. So finish your upgrade and then enable archiving. And disabling Archer log is mainly it will give you a performance boost. Performance will improve a lot. The next one is like if you're 11.5.10, make sure you apply all the extended support patches. So in a lot of customers they had this issue because extended support patches break the customization, so they could not apply it on production, on their existing production. But what we would say is apply it as part of your upgrade so that you get good support from Oracle. If you don't apply this, Oracle will not support your environment. Then use latest start CD if possible, right? If you have done 2 rounds of upgrade and you have used 1 version of start CD, see if you have available latest version, then download that latest version of start CD. The reason we ask this is if you look at your ADTXK or any of this readmes, or there are prerequisites to you make sure the middleware is of this version, you have applied these patches. A lot of those work will get solved by using the latest start CD. If you have a latest start CD, then it will include a lot of these patches which will become a prereq when you are upgrading to 12.6 or 12.7. So do that. Then avoid NFS. This is a common thing. I mean, we have tendency of saving our patches or CDs on the NFS or even shared Apple top. So avoid NFS during the upgrade. So try to upgrade on a local file system and also keep all your patches and softwares on a local file system, and it will definitely give you some performance, in terms of your runtime. May not be large, but 1 to 2 hours or sometimes 4 or 5 hours will be saved by not using the NFS. And then in upgrade, this is in your upgrade document, there is a specific step about functional prerequisites, and please do review that, based on the modules that you have. The reason we ask is this is one of the customer where I was advising, we saw this, very issue where Oracle was blindly asking, have you done the functional steps? Although it is not applicable to us, you have this module, have you not done this? Oracle repeatedly kind of asks this so that complete those steps. If you don't complete those steps and if you hit issues, Oracle will question that, and they will not support your upgrade path. So review those functional steps very thoroughly. I mean, there are a lot of things like you need to clean up a lot of data before you start the upgrade driver. Just make sure you perform all those. The next one is like you run all the purge jobs, clean up all the data before you start your upgrade, your interface jobs, and make sure interface tables are all clean. In 12.2 they create a lot of tables, and we kind of not cleaning this interface tables will cause more issues actually. So simplest solution is truncating those tables, but it all depends on what those interface tables contain, and if those are like auto invoices or some sort of data, just make sure those are all cleaned and they are processed to the next level before you start the upgrade. And then this is the last slide, and these are some basic things. You need to make sure you apply 12.2 NLS. If you have languages, if you have multi-languages on your environment, make sure you apply 12.2 NLS. So this is a bit confusing because 12.2 NLS is given as part of the software download. It's not a patch. part of software download. If you try to search that patch, you will not find it on Metalink. Instead, it's available as part of the software download you do it. So after 12.2 upgrade, apply the NLS. If not, when you're applying the NLS for the later releases, you'll have issues here. And if it's different customers. The other one is you request for NLS translation after the upgrade. This is also important because it works well without translation, but there are quite possible that you will hit issues where Oracle has not included certain files that were useful for your environment, or certain translation tables are missing. So generate the manifest file and request for the translation patches, and Oracle will release it in less than a day. And apply those patches, and those will definitely help you in future. The next one is custom top or customization. Perform this step as the last one. Perform all the upgrade and IOA activity and then perform this. The reason we ask it is because you go through all this process of enabling the online patching, then you want to make sure context file is correct, your custom top is registered. So if you perform it in the very beginning, quite possible that you override those steps and again you have to perform it. So try to push the custom steps to the last, so that that is the final step you perform. This just best practice, and also it will save time for you. The next thing which really helped us is automation, basically. So automate anything that's possible. So definitely it will reduce downtime, and also it will any human error it will prevent from happening. In our case, we'll give an example. When we upgraded from 11 to 03, and we are required to apply so many patches before starting the 12.2 driver. And we ran into multiple issues during because we have 40 development environments where we are required to upgrade them. We saw missteps, or people somehow overlooked something and it was causing more issues. So we automated this entire OPatch, patching this Oracle binaries before you start the upgrade. So we automated that entire thing. So all the patches, whenever you have a binaries, we run a script which will apply all the patches and run all the scripts and give it to us. So this kind of really helped us, mainly to prevent any human error, and also it was fast. If you manually apply like 40+ patches, it definitely will take you 2 to 3 hours. By automation, we just brought it down to like less than an hour. It saved us time. So try to automate as much as possible. Everything can be automated, because what human do is what scripts can do. We just need to spend some time, and you will definitely see the advantage as you upgrade more environments. Then comes by the latest performance fixes which Oracle releases. I think try applying those, because that kind of fixes a lot of performance issues. That's what Oracle says, and Oracle support will always ask you. And again, most of our issues and problems were more on Oracle support asking us, have you done this, have you done that? When even though if it is not useful to us, we have to do it, because that's how Oracle support works. And the last one is, there is a documentation about configure SOA gateway, during your 12.2 upgrade or before your 12.2 upgrade, which is really confusing there. So SOA gateway is not an XML gateway replacement. I don't want to say. So if you have an XML gateway configured on your lower environments, 11, 5, 10, or lower environments, or 12, it will get propagated to the 12.2. Only thing, we have to make minor changes just to go validate the setup. Probably you have to change the temporary directory and those things, but rest of the functionality will work fine. And SOA gateway is totally a different one, the web service. At our place, we don't have SOA gateway enabled, we don't use it. But if you're planning to use SOA gateway, it has a specific purpose, and it's not a mandate for 12.2 to use SOA gateway. And the XML gateway still works as expected. I think that's pretty much. I think now I'll open the deck for questions, and yeah, I'll try to answer as much as possible.
All right, so if you guys have questions, please submit them in the question box now, and we will wait for you all to have some time to type them out. And so I do have one question from John Underwood. He asks, how do you make ADCFG clone go from 2 hours to 45 minutes. FS_clone for us takes over 1 hour. And I apologize for this terminology if I am incorrect.
No, I got the question.
Okay.
So basically, see, we have virtualized our database. We use a software called Delphix, through which we have virtualized our entire database. So database takes just 25 minutes to 30 minutes. And the next part that was taking more time was ADCFG clone creating the middleware home, right? And if you're copying the cloning directory from your production, and if you're running on a lower environment, the ADCFG clone will try to replicate your production environment into a lower environment. So that's a bug in there. They should not be doing that, but that's how ADCFG clone works. And what we did is we removed that whole clone directory from production, and we built our own clone directories by running ADCFG clone in the lower environment. And then use that every time we do a cloning, we copy that clone directory, which is totally custom from our side, and then we use that to run our upgrade. Other thing is it actually creates the entire middleware home when you run ADCFG clone. We kind of tweak that to make sure we retain most of the middleware code rather than completely jarring the entire middleware and unjarring it. We kind of cut down that entire step to a in a different way. So if you need more technical details around that, you can definitely email me, and I can send you those details. So that's how we did minor tweaks here and there, and as of now we kind of clone the environment in 45 minutes. Did that answer your question?
John writes back and he says, yes. Does Oracle support that? Smiley face. And we also did receive one other question. How long was your upgrade timeline planned for, including testing to go and then to go live? Was it 3 to 6 months, 1 year?
Correct. So we planned it, initially the plan was 6 months, but we went live in 5 months actually. We went 1 month ahead of schedule. So that's how it was. But it was a 6 month plan, but we went live in 5 months.
All right. And one more question. How did you handle custom code?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the custom code, we divided it into different pieces. So one was PL/SQL code, the one was the custom concurrent code that was on the file system. So the PL/SQL code, we modified it on the 12.1.3 environment itself. So the way we did is a very crude way of doing it. We took all the PL/SQL code from the DBS source, and we did a wildcard search to find out where are the long-lasting references that are sitting there, and we modified them. We just looked out where there is, and we modified it, and we on the 12.1.3 environment. And this one caused issues because we were looking at all the references and modifying it, and then we accidentally enabled the triggers, because since we recreated a trigger which was having hard references to the table, we enabled a trigger that was supposed to be disabled, and due to which some data was messed up, and it took us a time to fix those. But that's how we did. We did it on 12.1.3. We did a crude way of search and replace. That's how we changed it. And at the file system level, yeah, we went through every form, just open every form and make sure there is no hard references to the tables. And Java code, like I said in the presentation, we moved all the Java code from XXFB to common top Java, where Oracle expects it to, as per the custom document. So we moved all the code there. So all this, so the PL/SQL was fixed in 12.1.3. Java code was fixed in 12.2. After we upgraded, we fixed it to 12.2. So this was during our upgrade actually. We did the Java code fix during the upgrade.
All right, and then we did have another question. It is, did Oracle Analyzer for pre-upgrade checks help with this custom code checks?
No, sorry, what is the question? I didn't get the question.
The question is, did Oracle Analyzer for pre-upgrade checks help with custom code checks?
No, it did not actually. None of the Oracle tools did help for the customization. We did it manually. So we went to the customization document which Oracle released. We just got the points out there, and then it's all in a manual where we kind of did it ourselves. None of the tools were useful in this case.
All right, so that looks like it's the last question that we have today. If you think of any future questions, or if you have questions about the OAUG Young Professionals or OAUG in general, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can email me at membership@oaug.org, and I'm happy to help you or put you in touch to ask future questions if you think about them later. We would love to thank our speaker as well. I think on behalf of everyone, we're so happy that you were able to give us all these tips and tricks. And Caton as well, who's on the line, for coming on the, and introducing our speaker and being part of the steering committee. So I think that concludes our call. Again, if you have any questions, email us at membership@oaug.org. Thank you all for coming.